First, I'm going to show you props. And, well, no, I'm not. First, I'm going to talk about yin a little bit, yin yoga. Unlike hatha yoga or more yang yoga, yin is really slow and it's really focused on the breath, as is hatha. And it's not about the force or the, it's not about arriving at any place with the pose. It's about allowing your body to relax enough so that the connective tissue can let go. And consequently, we can move further into the pose the longer we hold it. And I say move further, but I don't really mean move. I mean, we can soften further into the pose the longer we hold it, because the muscles aren't operating to control the connective tissue. So everything's letting go and we fall into the pose. I'm going to kind of demonstrate. Hang on. Going to turn this off first. I'm going to kind of demonstrate how we go into a yin pose as opposed to a yang pose. So one of the things we do a lot in yoga is forward bends, okay? So I'm going to go back here. Can you see me? No, I'm going to pull this down a little bit and kind of demonstrate a forward bend. So in a yang forward bend, say a wide leg forward bend, I might come into it like this and then, really bring myself into it. In a yin forward bend, I'd start here and I would move very slowly forward, getting to a place where it was kind of getting a little uncomfortable, and then I just fall into it. And working with the breath, as I inhaled, my spine would extend a little, and as I exhale, I soften a little. So I'm never pulling myself. I'm never using my muscles to do this. I'm always just letting the weight of my own body allow me to fall further into it. And a really important thing with all yoga, of course, all exercise is listen to your body. That whole thing about, no pain, no gain that we had years ago, or, you want to achieve more every time, doesn't apply to yin. With yin, as soon as you start to feel pain, you're defeating the purpose, because the purpose here is to achieve more flexibility and more elasticity. And pain is an indicator that there's something going wrong here. So you need to listen to your body. If at any time what I'm telling you to do doesn't suit your body, do anything you want to do that will suit your body, including lying on your back, rolling around, whatever. What I'm telling you is guidelines, not instructions to do exactly that. So that's the yin component of the body. A great book is, in case you really like this and you want to know more about it, this is the guy I did my yin teacher training with is a guy named Biff Mithofer. This is his book. It's a kit. There's cards, everything. It's good. If you are interested, let me know and I'll send you a copy of it. So let's talk about Gen Shinjutsu. And speaking of my teacher training, I give you my qualifications in yin because I have none in Jin Shinjutsu. So I am a certified yoga teacher. I have teacher training in yin. I have taken classes in Jin Shinjutsu in California, and I've done a lot of reading, but I've never trained with a trainer. And what I'm telling you comes from my reading, from my classes with Sophie, who set up professional audio and audio settings. Go away. All right, don't go away. So what I'm telling you is from my experience, and many of the people here have also done, wow, somebody with a violin on my screen now. Many of the people who've done this class before have had positive experiences with the Jin Shinjutsu too. So I'm using information they've given me about what it's done for them to talk about it. I'm going to try and get me back in here. Somebody else's. The main.
So Alison,
yeah.
If you'd mute everybody, then you'll be the spotlight.
Yeah, but I want questions if necessary.
Oh, right.
Okay, so Jin Shin is a old Japanese technique that was kind of rediscovered and reformed by a Japanese American woman named Mary Burmeister. And the books I used to teach it are this book called The Touch of Healing, and it's by her daughter, Alice Burmeister, and I use cards. And what Jin Shin Jyutsu is it is a healing touch therapy, I'm going to say, kind of like acupuncture and acupressure. And it operates on the premise that energy flow through the body keeps us healthy, and that there are ways to enhance the energy flow through the body and to get rid of energy blocks in the body. So Jin Shin Jyutsu has created a system of 3 ways to do this. The first way, and the easiest way, is just by holding your fingers. And each finger has associations with places in the body, with mental and emotional states, with physical states, with a color, with an age of life, with whether you're young, with a mineral kind of thing, like a lot of these things do, like astrology and, chakras and stuff. And, for some of you, that's really interesting. For other of you, that may just be kind of nonsense. But when we go over them, I'm going to tell you some of all of this, and what makes no sense to you or you're not interested in, you can just mentally discard and incorporate what you want to incorporate. So the fingers all have different purposes, different therapies, and just holding your fingers is a shortcut to this work of the touch. The other thing is flows, energy flows, and we're going to do a couple of those today. And the energy flows move the energy through your body on certain meridians that enhance certain organs, certain areas, and you'll experience this. The very first pose we do is the main central energy flow, and it takes the energy all up and down the core of your body. It's the biggest distributor of energy through your body. It's like a huge river of energy moving through your body. It's the Nile. And then there are all sorts of other energy flows where your hands are in different positions in a sequence. And the third aspect of Jin Shin Jyutsu is there are points all over your body that are very specific. If your back hurts, there are like 3 or 4 points you just hold, and that addresses that. And those points are called safety energy locks. I might refer to them as safety energy locks. I might refer to them as cells, the abbreviation. And they're not specific points, they're areas. So if you're touching, say, one of them is on the outside of your elbow. If you're holding your whole elbow, you're getting that area. There are 26 of them, 26 on each side. You can do either side or both sides and get the same effect because the energy is circulating through all the connective tissue throughout your body. It may take a little longer to reach the point, but you're going to get the same effect no matter what side you do. The touch needs to be relatively soft. Think of your fingers as jumper cables. And if you just put your finger on that spot, it's drawing the energy to it. and it's drawing it through all the points of your body. And the reason it's called safety energy locks is because, going with the metaphor of this energy going through currents in your body that are rivers, there are dams at these points, like just on the Canal de Midi, there's a lock, and these can get closed. And when you touch those points, that allows those dams or locks to open, so the energy can then move freely through. So what I've done with Yin Shin Jyutsu is we're doing Yin poses and we're overlaying the Jin Shin Jyutsu touches. So for example, we're not going to do this as the first pose, but one of the later poses, I'm going to do that wide leg forward bend. And there's a safety energy lock here on your toes. And we're going to hold our toes while we do it. So in other words, we're doing what's called dragonfly in yin, this wide leg forward bend. And we're doing safety energy lock number, whatever it is. I'll tell you when we get there. So it's just an overlay. If you decide you're uncomfortable doing both, just do one or the other. That's fine. With the yin poses, you can choose how intensely you want to do it. And it depends on, you know.
Would you hand me a tissue, please?
Pardon?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And depending on the day, depending on how you feel, you may want a little more of a challenge, or you may want to make the pose really relaxing. So for example, if we're doing that Gen Shinjutsu thing on our toes, we can do it in kind of a challenging pose with a forward bend, or we could do it on our back, holding our toes for a little gentler pose. So as we go along, I'm going to give you options. I'm usually going to demonstrate it in the forward pose if there is a forward option, but there's pretty much always an on your back, more relaxed option too. Have I said everything, Chris?
Everything except props.
Oh, props. Does anybody who's done this before, can you think of anything that I might want to add for someone who hasn't done it? Okay, so let's talk about props. Props are really important in both yin and Jin Shin Jyutsu. Because again, you want to be really comfortable. The energy is not going to move freely through your body if there's a tightness or a disturbance somewhere. So whenever I do a forward bend, I sit on a prop, a pillow, and that allows me already to be a little bit forward. It makes me much more comfortable. When I do, for example, say a butterfly with my feet together, I don't want my knees hanging out here. I prop. So I have around me a whole bunch of stuff always when I do yin. I have pillows, blankets, a zafu. Some people have a bolster. Some people have blocks. Some people don't have blocks. They have big fat books. Some people have blankets. And whenever we go into a pose, I'm going to suggest a way you can prop yourself if you're not comfortable, if you're not really comfortable, perfectly relaxed in this pose. And again, listen to your body. And if your body says, I've got my hand on the top of my head, but this arm is just lying there and it's really uncomfortable, find something and do something to make you more comfortable. Now I'm going to give Chris back his blanket because he loves his blanket. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to mute you all so that you can actually see me as the person on screen and I'm the biggest thing in your vision. Let me see, mute all. Oh dear. That's worked for. Can you see me? Am I the biggest thing in your vision? No.
Put it
Okay.
on speaker view.
You have to click on your picture.
But everyone will have to go to speaker view on their own camera to get you into the big picture.
Can everybody do that? I was in the big picture. I wonder what
Done.
happened.
We're done. I'm done. You're big.
Okay. Am I big for everybody? I can't see anything now. I can just see a
Yes.
rug.
Yes.
Actually, I can just see Colleen now. Okay, well, I'm going to assume that you can see me because I can't see me at all.
It's hard, I can see you. Thank you, Allison.
Okay, if I vanish, will somebody pop in and say, whoops, you vanished?
Okay, we will.
Okay, thanks, Betty. Oh, one more thing. Colleen, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Colleen with Downtown Desert Yoga. It's very nice to have all of you here this morning. Happy New Year. And I think Allison mentioned in the email that she sent to all of you that I'd love to have you join me as part of your pass that you purchased with her. If you have any interest in doing yin yoga with me or any of my other instructors this week, you are more than welcome to sign in and take those classes. Mine are on Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, US. Thanks, Allison.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to my mat and I want to make sure you can see me. Am I good here? Somebody tell me. Okay.
Yeah.
So typically in Jin Shinjutsu, we start by doing a pose called the Jin Shinjutsu hug. And one of the safety energy locks is right here under our arms, and just hugging ourselves takes care of that. So let's get set up in whatever yin pose we want to be in. I like to do this sitting with my legs crossed. You can do it on your back with your knees bent. You can do it however you want. But I'm going to get a little more challenging yin here. So I'm going to sit here with my legs crossed one way. I'm going to do the Jin Shinjutsu hug. And I'm going to tell you when we're halfway through with our legs crossed this way, so that if others of you are doing that, you can just switch the cross of your leg. So just set yourself up. And in yin, we typically start with an exhalation. And then the inhalation, and just set up a slow, even breath. Sometimes people count to 36. 36 in numerology totals to 9, and that's an important number in Gen Shinjutsu, but don't worry about it. We're going to hold this pose for about 5 minutes. I'll tell you when 2.5 minutes is up, so you can switch if you want. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Jin Shinjutsu point. One other thing I'm going to say about the yin pose, though, is if you want even a little more challenge and a stretch in your lower back and your hips, you can bring this pose forward. You can come into a forward bend with your elbows on the ground, maybe dropping your head, or you can take one of your props and rest on that. You can do this however you want, to whatever degree of stretch you want, yin stretch you want. Just make sure that the breath is slow and even. You're imagining that your connective tissue, your spine, is all just surfing the breath to softness. So this is the very last safety energy point, safety energy lock 26. And each of the points has a meaning and kind of a mantra. And the meaning of this is complete. That which was, is, and will be. And the mantra is, I know complete peace. Touching this point conducts energy out into the arms. We hug ourselves and let go of the stress and worry of every day. When this cell is harmonized, we sense inner peace and come into the now. We're halfway through, so you can switch sides if you'd like. You can switch sides with your legs if they're crossed. You can switch sides with your arms also if you want. All of these touches promote qualities and healing in both the physical and the mental and emotional aspects of ourselves. So for the physical, holding cell 26 is really good for your arms, your elbows, any pain in your arms or shoulders or numbness. It's also good for lymphatic diseases and prevention of tumors and cysts. In terms of mental and emotional qualities, it's good for stress, lack of vitality, and it brings inner peace. So start to move yourself carefully out of this pose, letting go of the arms. If your legs are crossed, maybe you want to plant your feet on the floor and windshield wiper them a little, or arch your back, or bounce them up and down a little, just to get rid of any tension you may have acquired. And I want to say two things now. The first is something Chris advised me to say, and I forgot to say earlier, but a lot of this Japanese philosophy is kind of curative. I say it's good for lymphatic stuff. And I think that has a grounding in acupuncture and acupressure, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know this. I have experienced some of the effects. Other people I know who took the class last time have experienced others. For example, it's really helped my back and my hip joints, some of the holds, I think, and it helps me a lot to sleep. I hold my fingers at night when I go to sleep. I've had other people tell me it helps them with allergies, with breathlessness and things like that. But again, these are a philosophical kind of spiritual aspect to it too, that I'm not really qualified to say this works. They're just suggestions that might work for you. So moving along with that, we're going to do the main central flow now. And this is a 7-part flow, and we're going to do it on our backs. And, have some props around you, because you may want to, put something under a knee or a shoulder or a hand, just, have stuff available. And also don't feel like once you move into a pose here, you're locked into it. If you're not comfortable in it, put a prop, move, change something. This isn't, nothing is in stone here. One of the major objectives is to relax enough to really get energy moving. So we're going to do this on our back. And for the first 6 steps, our right hand is going to be on the top of our head. Our left hand, and I'll remind you of this every step, starts at our third eye, right between our eyebrows, then goes to the nose, then goes to the throat, then goes to the heart, then goes to the belly, then goes to the pubic bone. And then for the seventh step, the right hand comes around and touches the tailbone. Okay? So I'm going to do a different yin pose with each one of these steps. Feel free, if you don't like the yin pose, to do something else or do nothing at all. We're going to start on our backs. And we're going to hold each step for 3 minutes. And the first yin pose we're going to do is a twist. So to get into this twist, I'm going to ask you to just come on your back, straighten your spine, bend your knees, and bring your knees into your chest. Have your arms out kind of in a T position and roll over to whichever side you prefer. You may, at this point, decide, okay, my legs don't want to come down to the floor. I'm going to put a prop under them. Or, okay, my left arm that I'm going to bring to the middle of my eye, I don't want it hanging out there. I'm going to put a prop under it, or I'm going to rest it on my body. I may or may not want a prop for my right hand on top of my head. Get yourself set up. You're twisted to one side or the other. Your right hand is on the top of your head. Your left hand or fingers are at your third eye. And now set up that nice, slow, even, easy breath. Your head can be turned to the right, to the left. You can rest either arm on anything you want. Just make sure you can relax in this pose. We have 30 seconds left on this side. Depending on how slow your breath is, that could be 3 or 4, maybe 5 more breaths. And now just let go of your hands and roll back onto your back. Drop your feet, straighten your spine. And we're going to do the other side. So you're going to pull your knees into your chest, roll over onto the opposite hip. Place your right hand on top of your head and your left hand on your nose. And then maybe decide if you need any props, put the props in, and set up the breath. So the main central flow is like an oval of energy without beginning or end. It runs through the center of the body, down the front, and up the back. It goes between the head, top of the head, crown of the head, and the pubic bone. And if you'd like to try coordinating your breath with it, the downward flowing frontal energy supports the exhaling, and the upward flowing posterior energy supports inhaling. So you can exhale on the way from your head down to your pubic bone, and inhale on the way back up in that constant oval. The mantra for the main central flow is vital life force for my being. It connects the unity of spirit, mind, and body with universal unity, universal energy. It is life breath for myself. Thirty more seconds. Let go of that and come back onto your back. And for the next hold, we're going to do a reclining butterfly. So adjust your spine on the mat, have some props nearby. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop out. I like to have props under both my knees. I have kind of a groin stretch on my right knee, so I have a higher prop on my right knee than my left. So I'm just going to set up my props, set up my feet, move them around. And then when I get that whole position set up, and if that's uncomfortable for you, just bring your legs together or stick them out straight. Whatever enables you to relax. You're going to bring your right hand back to the top of your head and your left hand or fingers to your throat. And maybe start with an exhale. Slow, even breaths. Some people notice immediately kind of a pulsing or a warmth where their fingers are in the Jin Shinjutsu hold places. I would say most people don't really feel a sensation there immediately, but over time, you'll notice a feeling of maybe drawing the energy towards those points. But periodically bring your attention to where your fingers or your hands are. It just encourages the energy to come there. So physically, mentally, and emotionally, possible applications for the whole main central flow are as self-help for a daily energy supply, for any emotional imbalances or feelings of despair, strengthens the spine, and it harmonizes the endocrine system. We have one more minute here. If you're curious to see how many breaths you take a minute, start counting. So bring your knees back up together and slide out one leg to straight. And bend the other knee again, letting the knee drop out to the side, and bring that foot, the sole of that foot, to the straight leg for a half butterfly. Prop anything you need to prop. Bring the right hand or fingers to the top of the head, and the left hand or fingers to the heart center. And breathe. One more minute. And switch sides, straightening the opposite leg, bending the other knee, letting it drop out to the side and bringing that foot onto somewhere onto the straight leg. May not be the same degree of up or down, may not need the same prop. Get yourself comfortable. Right hand is on the top of the head, left hand is on the belly. Maybe scan your body a little bit. See if you're holding any tension anywhere. See if you can let it go. And you have one more minute. Okay, bring both feet back up to the floor with your knees bent. And what you're going to do for this sixth step of this pose is you're going to keep your right foot on the floor with the knee bent, and you're going to take your left ankle over your right knee. And your left knee is going to flop out whatever degree is comfortable. You can have the ankle right up at the top by the knee or down further, whatever's comfortable. You should feel a little stretch here in your left groin. Bring your right hand to the top of your head and your left hand to your pubic bone. Breathe. If you wanted a little more stretch in your left hip socket, you could bring your ankle down and kind of push your knee forward a little, or you could just keep that relaxed. It's up to you. You choose the degree of challenge or sensation that you want. We have 30 more seconds. Now switch the position of your legs. One foot flat, the opposite ankle over the knee. Keeping your left hand at your pubic bone, roll up a little and put your right hand under your tailbone. It could be palm up or palm down, whatever's comfortable. Set up the breath. You have 1 more minute. Notice your breath. Notice if it's going down the front and up the back or the reverse. Notice if it feels like it's going in that oval. Maybe you can kind of visualize it going in that oval, starting at the top of the head, exhaling it down to the pubic bone, around up the back of the head. And now just let it all go. Do whatever you need to do. If you want to roll a little, bringing your knees into your chest. We're going to all meet up and sitting, but take your time getting there. Do whatever you need to loosen out, to let your shoulders go. Anything that lets go of any tension you might have acquired. You moan, sigh. Well, hi there. There's a husky walking through. So the next thing we're going to do is the wide-legged forward bend that we call dragonfly in Yin. And what I like to do is I like to bring my legs together, and then I like to move them out. I'm sitting on a pillow, so I'm tilted forward just a little bit. I like to move them out as far as I can get them and then bring them in some, so I don't overstretch my groins. And then untighten the back of my knees. So I slip a prop, I'm using 2 pillows, under the back of my knees. And then I'm just going to breathe my way into that forward bend. And like I said at the very beginning, if you don't feel like doing a fairly strenuous forward bend, your legs don't need to be straight. They can be bent, or you can be on your back with your knees bent. We're going to hold our toes, and then we're just going to relax as much as we possibly can into this pose. And the point is on your big toes, but if you want to just hold the bottom of your feet and touch your big toes, anything within a palm, the size of a palm, anywhere around it works. Relax your face, your jaw, your shoulders. Set up that nice, even, slow breath again. This is Safety Energy Lock 7. Its meaning is victory, perfect life power. And its mantra is, I am a perfect creation. The breath of life flows from the head to the toes. At cell number 7, your big toe, it is passed through your entire being. The lowest point of the body, the tip of the big toe, harmonizes the topmost part, the head. In the head, cell number 7 acts on both the pituitary and the pineal glands. The latter takes in light and has a brightening effect on the mood by releasing hormones. The theory is that our cells rejuvenate over a 7-year cycle. Therefore, the entire body can regenerate if we regularly jump or cable cell number 7. Physically, holding cell number 7 is good for headaches, excessive mental activity, learning difficulties, asthma, heart problems, high blood pressure, and it grounds us. Mentally and emotionally, it's good for temper, loss of control, and it strengthens spiritual harmony and trust. We have 1 more minute. Okay, move yourself up out of this. And look at me for a minute, and I'm going to show you where the next Jin Shinjutsu hold is. And then I'm going to show you some options for the Yin Pose. So the next hold is underneath your cheekbones. So you can put your fingers there or your hands there. You're right under your 2 cheekbones. I like to do this on my stomach in a Sphinx pose. I'll show you that second. You've got choices here again. The Sphinx pose is really good for increasing the arch in your back. So if you don't want to do Sphinx, but you do want to work on the arch, you can do it on your back by taking a towel or a blanket and just folding it so that you can put it directly under your spine like this. You want your head to be able to get on it too. And then just lie your spine on this. Your knees can be bent or straight or whatever you want, and bring your hands here. It should be a narrow enough fold so that your rib cage is kind of melting over it, and your hands are up here. Alternatively, if you want to do the Sphinx, you're on your belly, on your forearms. Got all these props in the way, you can probably not even see what I'm doing. So I'm on my belly, I'm on my forearms, my legs are out straight. I try and let go of any tension in my butt, and I bring my hands here underneath my cheekbones. Now, if you feel tension in your back here, you can always prop your belly too, so that you're supported on a pillow or something. And then relax, let go of any tension in the back of your waist, let go of any tension anywhere, and breathe. So this is Safety Energy Lock 21, and the meaning is profound security. And the mantra is I see beyond my own limitations. So holding cell 21 helps us to get rid of prejudices and break stuck patterns of thought. When we succeed in letting go of old notions, we suddenly sense a greater freedom and discover the unexpected. Cell 21 helps us to digest both thought and food. It gives you an energy boost, and you can think better. Physically, it's good for anything going on in your head. Stuffed nose, sniffles, sinus problems, toothache, neuralgia. And it's also good for digestive problems. It's good for underweight or overweight. Mentally and emotionally, it helps resolve worry, tension, depression, and it boosts energy and understanding. We have 1 more minute here. So come out of this, and if you want to take a look at me again, our last hold is going to be the 6th depth, which I'll explain to you in a minute, but it's our palms together in prayer position. And I like to do this in a child's pose. But if you don't like child's pose, you can also do this on your back by just coming onto your back, bringing your knees into your chest and holding your hands there, or actually doing anything you want with your knees. I'm going to do it in a child's pose. It can be a wide leg child's pose or a narrow leg child's pose, however you want to do it. And you can have your hands ahead of you. You can have your head propped on something. You can have your hands over your shoulder. Just get yourself in a position where you're really comfortable. And then set up that slow, easy breath. So the 6th depth, where your hands are together, represents the place where the energy of the universe and the energy of you, your body, connects. And then there are 5 depths within your body, starting at the very outer edge of your body, at your skin, and going all the way into your bones. And each one of those depths is connected with a finger. And we'll do that in future classes. But in this 6th depths, the mantra is, I am the divine flame. And the theory in Yin Jin Shin is, this is the place where the blueprint of your personal self initiates. This is where the energy flows originate that permeate our whole being, supplying us with the necessary life energy. When we're sick and exhausted, jumper cabling the 6th depth like this reinvigorates us. Mentally and emotionally, bringing your palms together helps with not feeling centered, with stress, with burnout. It helps to create emotional balance, and it fosters spiritual harmony. It's no wonder that prayer is bringing your hands together in a lot of spiritual traditions. Physically, it works for fatigue, exhaustion, strengthens the deepest levels of ourself, the spine, the bone, the marrow. It strengthens our genes. It energizes our whole being, and it harmonizes our breath and our thoughts. You have 1 more minute here. We're going to go into Shavasana for here. So when you come out of this pose, move very carefully onto your back and allow your body to come into its most comfortable resting position. It can be a traditional Shavasana with your legs extended and flopped open, slightly apart, your arms relaxed by your side. Your legs can be bent. You can be legs up against the wall. It can be whatever position is absolutely the easiest place for your body to be right now, where there's no tension, no effort. Let go of any concentrated breathing. feel as though you're heavy, loose, soft, sinking into the ground. So slowly bring yourself back to awareness, maybe moving your hands and your feet, your wrists and your ankles, maybe yawning, groaning. Slowly moving back into the room, moving back into the day. Carefully moving yourself back up to a sitting position. My computer is completely frozen now, so I can't do anything. I can't unmute you. I can't do anything. So if you can unmute yourselves, come back into the room with some sound. I don't even know who's out there.
There's a bunch. There's a whole
Well, I know
lot
that
of
I love
people.
you all.
Hit the space bar.
Chris says, hit the space bar. Hang on. Nope. Okay.
There are a lot. There are 2 pages full. Like they're like,
Cool. Well, let's honor each other by bringing our hands into prayer in front of our hearts and bowing to each other, saying namaste. The highest in me honors the highest in you.
namaste.
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 Thank you so much for coming.